Hey there. I decided I'd do a live video because I thought this one might go for a while, and I just thought that this would be the quickest and easiest way to take care of this. I don't know if anybody will show up, but if anybody does, we can chat a little bit. And anyway, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've picked up recently. I've been gone for a while, haven't been able to do any videos recently. I was on vacation all last week, so I wasn't doing, and I was completely off the grid. And, just prior to going back on vacation, I was trying to get some things taken care of and be prepared, so I wasn't doing anything for videos. And now I've got that I'm back. I decided, hey, well, I had some other stuff to catch up on before I could really get started. So now just got a time where I can breathe a little bit. So thought I'd show you some stuff. Start off with this big stuff in the background. These are a couple of team issue cards that I picked up recently, a couple weeks back from auction. It's a 1970 and a 1965 Giants team issue. Hey, Jonathan, how you doing? Yeah, it's got some unique stuff here, and now the grade on this one here is only a 4. I've been doing well. I took some time off on vacation. I was up in Minnesota. I was fishing, hanging out with some old friends. It was a great time. So good to be back, though. It's like, but it was a great trip. Good to be away off the grid, disconnect a little bit. It was a good time. Wish I'd caught a few more fish than I did, but as it was, still, still worth every bit of it being away. So, but yeah, then it's 1970. It's a pretty good grade. It was a PSA 8. They had a couple of Willie Mays from each of these sets that was in the same auction, which I tried to pick up one of them, but they went awfully high. So I just got picked up the Gaylord Perrys because they went reasonably cheap, and it was a good way to add a new thing to the type collection. I didn't have anything from either of these sets, so definitely something cool to add. Now, got a bunch of other stuff here. I'll kind of run through. I got a couple of Hall of Fame autographs that have come in. One here is a Mike Schmidt auto, and then also a Tony Gwynn auto. Rest in peace. But those were picked those up in different auctions, and been it's been kind of picking up a few autos recently. Speaking of autos, I will go into some of my stuff. I picked up a number of Husker autos for my Nebraska collection. Kind of a quick rundown on it. I picked up like a whole bunch of these from one seller that had a lot of them. And so there's an Eric Piakowski. Yeah, buy a Babe Ruth auto. Yeah, I wish. Uh, there we go. And this one here, Carlos Polk. Some of these guys, barely had kind of cups of coffee in the NFL, but I'd still like to pick them up. Dan Alexander, Marlon Lucky. I don't know if he even actually made a team. I think he might have just been on a couple practice squads. John Reese, Toby Wright, and Carell Buckhalter. He had a pretty decent run with a couple of teams. And let's see here, we got Malik Collins, who's currently, I think, with the Cowboys right now. And this one's not an auto, just a relic. One of those like Black Friday or something like that. One of the special promotional packs of Amir Abdullah. This one's a really cool patch. Niles Paul, who is still currently in the league. I forget which team he's on right at the moment. And then a relic of Ndamukong Suh. So, you'll like these next ones, Jonathan, if you're still there. Picked up some Alex Gordon stuff. So, little dual relic numbered to 99. And this big old jockstrap relic here. That one's numbered to 99 as well. And a couple of these manufactured things. You know, they were cheap. So pick those up. Just, you know, the Alex Gordon stuff's pretty cool. And, you know, when I was in a break with Snodzilla a while back, and I didn't even have the Cubs, but I had the Giants, and then I ended up trading for this Ian Happ relic. I traded a hit that I'd gotten for the Ian Happ. I probably ended up getting the lesser end of that trade, but I just wanted the PC card. And a couple of Javi Baez relics that I picked up. Kind of cool stuff. And speaking of Javi Baez, I've got a ton of stuff. I was in that same that same night of the break with Snods. Somebody pulled a Javi Baez Spectra out of Chronicles. It was numbered to 10. This one right here. And I said, you know, asked the guy if he'd be willing to sell it to me, and he was. And so I picked it up, and it was just like, oh, you know, maybe I'll check out and see what else there is out there for the Baez stuff and these Spectra ones. And I thought, you know, maybe I'll get some more of them. And, you know, I picked up the base, and I picked up 2 of the number to 99s. Then it's like, well, we got to get 1 to 75. And then there was this 1 to 49. And then there was 1 to 25. And like I said, I already had the 1 to 10. And then all of a sudden, I saw this show up. It was the 101. And I said, well, dang, I guess I got to get it. Hey there, Jimmy. How are you? So I ended up getting the 101. So I don't know if this is the whole rainbow or not. It's the only ones that I can find. I can't locate. Like, I thought maybe there'd be a number to 5 or something above the 99, but it doesn't look like maybe there is. So I think I've got the whole rainbow, I think, which is pretty cool because I've never done that before. And this is like the very first 1 of 1 that I guess real 1 of 1, because I had a printing plate that I pulled out of a pack once, and I can't even remember who it was. It wasn't anybody major, but I just thought it was kind of ugly, and I didn't care for, you know, consider it to be anything special. And I sold it for, I think, less than $5 on eBay. And yeah, that was the end of that. But this would be like the first legitimate 101 that I own now, so that's pretty cool. Then a couple other things I got here. Picked up this Harmon Killebrew. This is from a Bazooka chewing gum box. This would be from 1965. You can see it's blank backed and it's hand cut. So these were on just a box of chewing gum, a Bazooka brand back then. And they're a little bit scarce. They're not they're not super rare or anything, but they are kind of hard to track down. And I didn't have one from the set from any of the Bazooka, the old Bazooka chewing gum ones, so I picked up this one here. And a couple other things I've got here. A couple graded pickups. I got this here Harmon Killebrew. It's a 7-Eleven Slurpee coin. So you got the 3D or multiple image thing. You got the batting shot, the head shot. I think it's just the 2 images, but very cool. Wasn't a great grade, but I was like, I think I only paid like $1 for that one. So, and picked up one card for the 1960 Fleer set that I've been working on. Not very hard, just moving along slowly on that. But I did pick up one of them there. And then this here is really cool 1953 Topps of Johnny Mize. PSA 3, obviously in for condition, not a great condition, but it's still a great looking card no matter what. Really not a lot of creasing, just kind of rough around the corners and maybe a bit of a wrinkle here, but still presents really nice. And then speaking of cards that present really nice, this one right here is one that I picked up, and it is a PSA 1, but I tell you what, it presents really great. I mean, it's got some creasing here and here, and I think there's even a little bit of paper loss right there. But this card right here there's only like a handful of these that are even graded by PSA. It was a team issue postcard, and I think there's like 10 of them that have been graded by PSA. And this is one of them. And it's probably, I believe it for sure, it's the worst grade, lowest grade of any of them, but there's not many of them to be found, and it's just such a cool looking image. I just really liked it, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to pick that up, and so I did. And okay, so then while I was gone, I'd sent a submission off to PSA. We did a big group submission with a couple of guys from the card family, and no Koufax cards in this. I do have some, but I don't have any like right here to show you as part of these pickups, but I do have a few. So like I said, we did a group submission. It was 100 cards total between the group of us. 10 of the cards that were sent in were mine. I received mine back, so I'm going to kind of run through the grades on those for you. Had this 1971 Topps Super of Willie Mays. Got a PSA 6. And then for both my 1964 Topps Giants set and my Roberto Clemente Master set, I sent off the 64 Topps Giants of him and got a PSA 6 on that as well. And then one of a regional cards of Clemente 1966 East Hills Pirates, and this is kind of a weird issue. They're really common to find, and for something that's a regional issue like that, you would think it would be more rare, but for some reason these seem to have been produced in super large quantities and were preserved, a lot of them. So they've been easy to find here. And this one here's a PSA 5, one I picked up. So all of these were ones that I'd picked up raw. And then a couple others I got here is 1957 Hank Aaron. Only got a 1.5, and I thought it could get a little bit better than that. I'm not upset at it by any means, but like, man, I would have thought I'd do a little bit better. But as far as visual eye appeal, I think this looks about as good as any. And this was Hank Aaron's greatest season. Fits into a composite that I was building of guys that won the MVP, getting a card from him in that season. So that was a big gap in there. So was glad to pick up that one. And then I got a couple of Roy Campanella cards. This one here is his 1953 Topps, and it's a very good 3. And then I picked up what I think is one of his best cards as far as an image that's on it, is 1951 Bowman. And this one was pretty creased up, but I wanted to put it into the collection here, and it did. So got it just in the poor PSA 1 grade. But then also couple more for the Clemente collection. I sent in my 68 Topps base card of him that I had, only PSA 2, and then the 59 Topps base card, which it should be better than this, but it's really scuffed up here on the front, which ended up giving it just the 1. So that's is what it is, but fills the spot in my registry, and I'm happy with that. And this one here, this is a hand cut card, and so it gets the authentic grade, and this is from 1963, and it is a Jello card, so it would have been on your box of Jello and cut off from there. And I also have one other Clemente card that has basically the same image as this card that I sent in, and PSA messed up on the order because they graded it a 4. They sent me a thing saying it had been graded a 4, but when I got it back, it wasn't in a slab, and it was actually in a card saver and had a thing on it saying that it was an altered card, but the label listed a completely different card. It listed a hockey card. It was a 51 Packers card of Gordie Howe. And it's like, I didn't even send that card in with the submission. So I'm out there. I kind of suspect that there's a chance that PSA slabbed a 1951 Packers card that wasn't supposed to be graded and put it into a slab with the PSA label that says it's a 1968 or 67 Pittsburgh Pirates team issue card of Roberto Clemente, which I'm sure that the guy that got that's probably scratching his head as to how that happened too. But I emailed PSA and said, what the heck's going on with this? And they gave me a return label so I could send it back to them. So they're going to fix it. So fingers crossed that all gets worked out here eventually, and I get that one back in the slab sometime soon. So that is what I've got to show you. It was a lot of stuff. Thanks for sticking around if you did. I know this was a long video and lots of different stuff. I've got a couple of packages that I need to open And I came back from vacation. I had a package from Pepino Man. So thank you very much, but I want to open that with the boys. So we'll be doing that one soon. And also, Just the Bears sent me a care package. I want to say thank you very much on that one as well. It's greatly appreciated. And I'll be showing the cards from that here in another video here in the next few days as well. So thanks everybody and have a good night. We'll talk to you again.